If you model in a modern era, you're gonna need graffiti. I know what you're saying. I don't like graffiti either. I don't like vandalism, but they make it like that. So in the last video, we talked a little bit about weathering, and I showed you a couple of techniques that I like to use in order to make a boxcar look a lot more authentic using weathering. Now, I pointed out on that car that there was in fact graffiti, but I didn't talk much about it because I wanted to dive a little deeper in another video. So today we're going to be looking at this covered hopper car. Hang on, let me show you the English side. It's a Canadian National hopper car, and the detail is unbelievable. I'm pretty sure that it's a micro trains. I could be wrong, but it's been sitting on my layout and looking a little bit too shiny, and it's way too much of a blank canvas for me to leave it alone. The thing about graffiti is it's actually the thing that got me interested in the hobby the most when I was first starting out. My brother got into the hobby several years ago, and I was always interested. I thought it was really cool. I've always loved anything to do with trains, planes, automobiles, you name it, I love it. But I noticed looking at his layout, it didn't have any graffiti. I see trains go by every single day, and every single train has graffiti on it. So if you're modeling a modern era and you don't see graffiti, it's a problem. It's a serious problem. I'm very serious right now. Now, at the time, I didn't claim to be a graffiti artist. I still don't claim to be a graffiti artist, but I thought to myself, it can't be that difficult. You're painting on trains. If you mess up, it just looks like the graffiti artist that did it is terrible, and nobody needs to know who that graffiti artist is. So I decided I got myself an N-scale car that I had for my own layout, and I thought, let me just try. And here it is. This is the first car that I ever graffitied over 10 years ago. And looking back at it, I'm not happy with it at all. But I'm proud of it because it's what actually got me into what I do now. Fast forward 10 years and now here we are, and I'm about to show you what it is that I do. Before we get into it, let me introduce myself. My name is Tim. I am a fabricator by trade, and I've always loved everything to do with model trains. I'm not a train spotter, I'm not a rivet counter, but I just love modeling as close to reality as I see it. Now, when I see a train go by, I don't count how many rivets I see. I just see the train, and I model what I see. And if what you're hearing so far sounds like something that you're interested in, please feel free to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so that you're notified every single time I post a new video. So as I said, today I'm gonna show you what it is that I do in order to graffiti model trains. Now, I'm starting off with this covered hopper, and I'm starting off with a pencil, and I'm just gonna outline what it is that I want to do on this car. Now, the sketch is basically just a rough idea of what it's gonna look like. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate because you're gonna be going over it with paints anyway, but it just kind of gives you an idea of the layout and the sizing of the graffiti itself. So I've gone ahead and I've done the pencil outline, and I'm really liking how it looks. I tried to stay away from any of the road markings in case this car ever gets used for switching. I know a lot of people, they get grumpy if you cover up the road names. So I'm just going in with a white paint. I'm actually using paint from a paint marker, but I'm applying it with a Q-tip because I only need a really thin covering. I'm kind of dabbing the paint on almost like you would with a sponge. It's really hard to see on camera, but it kind of gives it a little bit of a texture. I like the look of that texture because it looks almost like a spray can. So now we'll set that to dry, and usually what I'll do is when I'm working on a car, I'll work on another one as well. Sometimes I work on upwards of 5 cars at a time. That way I can set one aside, and while it dries, I can work on the next one. So what I'm gonna use is I'm actually gonna use pencil crayons. So I'm actually just gonna start really, really light with the yellow. The darker I want it to go, the more I'm gonna go over it. I'm not gonna press any harder. And that's how you'll get that nice fade. I'm not paying too much attention with staying in the lines because I still have to go over it again and do my outline. The nice thing about graffiti too is there's never any mistakes. To quote Bob Ross, there are no mistakes, there's just happy accidents. And it's true because it's always gonna look like graffiti no matter how bad it is, no matter how good it is, no matter how much you messed up and it just didn't come out the way that you wanted, it's still gonna look like graffiti because it is. It's still something that's painted on the car that's not meant to be there, and that's exactly what graffiti is. So now I've gone over it again with the orange. I'm actually gonna take my yellow and go one more time and just try and blend these two colors together. I've had a lot of people ask me why it is that I hand paint instead of using decals or decals or however you want to pronounce it. And I find that they just don't look as authentic, and it's quite simple why. It's because they're not. You're painting on a train, which is what graffiti is. Graffiti is painting on a train. I've tried to blend in decals. I've used decals on buildings and stuff like that. Not graffiti, but signage. And it looks pretty good, but you can still tell that it's a decal. When it's graffiti, that's where I draw the line. So I've gone back over this again with a yellow, and it's really starting to blend in nicely. Now comes the fun part. We are gonna take an ultra fine black Sharpie pen. Now the problem with these is that they can explode and it's never fun. So you just wanna take your time, make sure that you get those lines exactly how you want them. And if you have to press out more paint, do it on a piece of paper. So I'm actually just doing a couple scribbles on a piece of paper just so I can get a good flow. And here we go. We're gonna come in here now and trace out our lettering. So now that I've gone ahead and put my outline, I am going to add a little bit of a background just to make it stand off of the car a little bit more. So I'm just gonna go in here and color in the background. I'm kind of giving it a little bit of a cloud effect. There's no real rhyme or reason to my shape. I'm just making it as random as I possibly can to make it almost look like it's bursting out. You'll find with graffiti there's a lot of 3D effect. I'm gonna come in with a yellow and just add a couple of dots. So this is the final result. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm actually gonna go and weather it now, but I'm not gonna show it on camera. If you wanna see some in-depth weathering, you can check out the video that's right here, and I'll just show you the final result after it's been weathered. So that's it. This is the final car. Graffitied, weathered. If you found this video interesting, if you found it educational, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos like this. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you have any thoughts, and let me know if you have any techniques you want me to cover in a future video. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you're notified every single time I post a video, and we'll see you in the next one.